Hello English learners, and welcome to another episode of English Lessons with Grammar Man on location. And today we have another video on modal verbs. This video is Modal Verbs Part 2. In Part 1, I suggest you watch that, check it out. I explained how modal verbs are different to normal verbs. I explained the rules about how to use modal verbs, and most importantly, I explained a great trick about how to remember all 9 of the modal verbs easily. So have a look at that video if you haven't already. In this video, I'm going to continue with modal verbs, and I'm going to explain how we use them in a sentence and the different functions of each modal verbs. So let's get into it. So let's go through them in order. If you remember the song, come sing with me. Can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, must. If that means nothing to you, check out video part 1 on modal verbs. It's a great trick to remember all 9 modal verbs. So we'll go through them in that order. Starting with the modal verb can. The negative is cannot, and the negative contraction is can't. Okay, can is often used to show present ability. For example, I can ride a bike. It is used to make a request. Can I borrow your car? And is used for a possibility and the first conditional. Anyone can learn English if they are motivated. Okay, the next modal verb in the sequence is could. The negative is could not, and the negative contraction is couldn't. Could is used to show past ability. I could ride a bike when I was younger. You can use it for a polite request. Could I please borrow your car? That's more polite than using can. And we can use it for the second conditional. He could learn English if he was more motivated. And we can use it for a suggestion. We could go to the movies on Friday if you like. And that brings us to the modal verb shall. The negative is shall not, and the contraction is shan't. Now, shall is quite old-fashioned and formal. I very rarely use it myself, and I don't recall ever using it in the negative form. I don't know that I've ever said the word shan't before. So I'll teach you the rules anyway, so that if you are doing a test or if you want to speak in Old English, you at least have the option. So yeah, as I was saying, these days most people use the modal verb will to talk about future time. However, you can use shall. For example, I shall be there at the meeting today, or I shan't be there at the meeting today. You can also use shall for suggestion. Shall we go to the beach? That's a bit more common. I've said that before. Shall we go to the beach? And we can also use it for an offer, to make an offer. Shall I open the window? That's also a little bit more common than using it to talk about the future. Then we come up to the modal verb should. Should in the negative is should not, and the contraction is shouldn't. It is used for recommendations. You should wear a helmet when you ride a bike, for example, or also for predictions and expectations. He should be home by now. Okay, then W. Come sing with me. So will. The negative is will not, and the contraction is won't. Will is also special in the positive form because it can be contracted to I'll. I will is I'll. He will is he'll. She will is she'll. We will is will. And it will is it'll. It'll be a great day today. Okay, so it's a little bit different with the contractions. It is used for future intent and is part of the future simple formula. I will do my Christmas shopping tomorrow, or contracted, I'll do my Christmas shopping tomorrow. We can use it for predictions. I think Roger Federer will win. Requests, will you please help me to move this table? And hypotheticals or first conditionals. If I win lotto, I'll buy a Ferrari. Okay, then we have the second W, which is would. The negative is would not, and the contraction is wouldn't. Would is also special in the positive because it can be contracted to I'd. I would is I'd. He would, he'd. She would, she'd. You would, you'd. And it would, it'd. Sounds a bit strange, but that's the word, okay? Okay, so what do we use? We use it for polite requests. Would you mind opening the window, please? Or, I would like the Hawaiian pizza, thanks. Okay, to make requests. We can also use it for hypotheticals and second conditionals. If I lost my job, I would be very annoyed. Conditional. And it's also used as the past form of will. He said he would be here at 8. And finally, we have the 3 M's. Because come sing with me. So we'll start with the word may. The negative is may not. And there is no negative contraction with may. So that's handy to know. We use may for polite requests. May I borrow your pen, please? And to express possibility. I may have to sell my car if I don't find work soon. Then we have the modal verb might. The negative is might not, and the contraction is mightn't. We use might for, we use it to express possibility. I might come to the party if I'm not too tired from teaching grammar. And for suggestions, you might want to adjust the straps on your bags so they are more comfortable. And finally, the modal verb must. The negative is must not, and the negative contraction is mustn't. We use must for a logical assumption. He's driving a Ferrari. He must be really rich. We can use it for a rule or a law. You must not smoke on the aeroplane. For necessity, students must pass an entrance exam to study at this school. For certainty, this must be the address, I'm sure of it. And finally, for obligations, but from a pressure that we put on ourselves, let's say internal pressure. I must call my sister today. And that's a wrap, everybody. That's the 9 modal verbs. Thank you very much for watching. You're all a bunch of legends. Have a fantastic day and subscribe and check out the website. Cheers!